What's up, guys? My name is Lusterling, and this is Visionaries in Progress, the podcast experience. I am really excited to bring you this live workshop recording from, I think it was, oh my gosh, I think this was recorded like in April or May 2024. Crazy. Anyways, I'm bringing it to the podcast because I love this practice. It has been really helpful for me as a creative, as a visionary, as someone who values authenticity over pretty much everything. And yeah, so I want to share it with you as a tool that can help you with what you're creating and what you're putting into the world. Like I said, this is a live workshop experience. So you're going to hear from participants as they joined in from different places across the US. We have some in person, some who joined online. And I'm doing this because, while there are things that we have in common as visionaries and as creatives, there are so many nuances to our personal human experiences that impact everything that we do. So instead of me just sharing with you my perspective, I want you to be able to hear how this practice impacts different types of people, the different topics that it brings up. And I'm also including a lot of our little sidebar conversations and the different reflections that each of us have so that you can hear how these practices and these questions truly do land differently for everyone. I can't wait to see what this brings up for you. And yeah, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is you're going to need some paper and something to write with. And you're probably going to want multiple sheets. You can do it in a journal, but loose leaf. Oh, thanks, Joe. Loose leaf is cool. All right, the first thing we want to do is at the top of your paper or anywhere on your paper, I want you to write your current definition of success. Like, what is success to you? How do you know what success is in your life? And while you're doing that, I'm going to pull up all the notes and I'm going to switch to speaker view, I think. All right. And if you're watching this and if you need time at any point in this to pause to do whatever I'm asking or saying to do, just pause. Okay, so flip that over. We're not going to come back to that for a while, so you don't need to see it. And before we jump into the topic today, I wanted to give a reminder of why we're here or why I believe we're here. So I believe that there are big changes coming in the world. And I believe that there are specific people who are called to make those changes. I think that we are the people making those changes. And we're the visionaries. We hold a vision of the future. We are able to see things that we want to come to fruition. And we're given the tools and resources to actually make them happen. Because there are people who have great ideas but would never act on them. There are people acting who have terrible ideas. And then there's us. There's people who are on their journey, they're healing, they're wanting to be amazing people, they're wanting to see amazing things happen in the world, and they're like committed to the process. So I just want to remind you that you are those people and that everything that happens in VIP is not, it's not from the lens of like, I know this and you don't, but more like, this is what we're doing and how can we do this together? So I want you to feel like this is open space where we're equals and that this is a conversation. So I'm just going to be bringing up topics and giving us space to like explore and communicate about it together. Because sometimes these are the things we don't get to talk about. And the topic that we're doing today is foundation for everything else. So it's like if you had one tool, this would be the tool. And then please know that everything that comes up here and in this space is safe. So there's no judgment here. We are all equals. We are all on this journey together. So also with everything, there's nuance, right? Like we aren't the same person. We are not carbon copy of each other. So there might be things that I talk about that maybe you don't resonate with or they're not true for you. So if that does happen, I want you to like think of what is true for you. Like find something in what I'm saying that you compare to like what's true for you. Like so you can take this and make it about your life. It doesn't have to be like exact if you don't relate. Okay. That being said, let's see. I'm not used to this whole setup. Like I have my notes on my phone. It makes me feel like I'm just like on my phone, but I didn't want to like blah, 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 and then forget what I was doing. Okay, so you have your paper. We've done our success. Okay, I'm going to ask you to draw something. Okay, this is not a drawing contest. It is not perfect. But what I'm going to do is walk you through a visualization technique. So I'll ask you to close your eyes. Nobody's looking at you. And so just go ahead and get there. Close your eyes. And I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to trust the very first thing that comes to mind. Okay. What is your current shape, not your body shape, but if you had to give a shape to your being or yourself or who you are, what shape comes to mind? You can make it as big or small that feels right. This is so much fun. 'Cause I don't know, like, I don't know what people are gonna, what's gonna come up. Okay, so once you have your shape, I want you to look at your shape and I want you to reflect on what do you notice about this? Like, what does it mean to you? What does it feel like to you? Why do you think that this is the shape for you? And you can make notes on the side if you want, or any words that are coming up right now. Like, why is this your shape? I'll do mine too, because I definitely had a shape come to me for this. So when I was first like getting the, I don't know, information for this, the shape that came to me for me was this like long oval shape. And at first I was like, oh, cool. It's like, but the more I got to know it and the more I started to understand what this was talking about is actually I'm very spread out. Like I have been through so many things that have stretched me and pulled me and that have required me to just like stretch myself. And I'm still trying to hold that shape or hold that container or whatever, but it's very spread thin. So what are some things that if you feel like sharing, if you don't, that's okay. Is there anything that stood out to you from your shape that you feel like sharing?
Mine's is a diamond, so it can be anything. The shape is perfectly fit for everybody. So it's the beginning and end. You can either start it off with a diamond and everybody gathers to it and make the final puzzle piece, or at the end, it can fit based off of the angle of whoever it is trying to fit in.
I did a cone, and the base of the cone is flattened and round, which is like the foundation and me being grounded. And as the cone hits the top, it is the top percent of people who are willing to see and climb. So that's desire of where I want us to be.
That's awesome.
1%.
Yeah.
That's really Joe, is there anything you want to share about your shape or no share space?
I'm good.
Okay. I love Joe. Sorry, this is so much fun for me. Okay. So now let's talk about what the actual topic is of today. So the topic for today is self-contained. Self-contained. So before I talk more about what that is or what it means, I want to give a reminder that this is just a practice. This isn't something that is going to stick to you forever. It's something that you can play with or that you can experiment with. It is a mindset. It is a mindset. It's a mindset. It is a mindset. It is a concept. This is not a rule. It's just a concept. So self-contained is a practice. What it means is essentially to hold yourself with yourself to yourself. You are containing self. And what's really cool about humans is we are the bridge between two worlds, right? Like we are of the earth, but we are also of spirit. And as much as our body is a container for physical matter, like we are also a container for life, for spirit, for love, or anything else we might be holding and harboring. So, what does it mean to be self contained? Well, that means to be a container for yourself, of yourself. And the only way to truly become really close and intimate with that part of you is to cut away everything else. So that's kind of what we're going to do today is do a practice that helps you dial into like what is my container and what am I here to contain? So that's what it means. The other thing I like about it is if you're familiar with like the coaching world or like the spiritual coaching world, a lot of if not all of them, refer to their practices or their services as containers. Like they set up containers for their clients. They set up containers, group containers, one-on-one containers, right? Really what they're doing is they're holding a certain space and frequency for someone else to transform, to become. And within that container, there's a set of encodings, right? It's what they're bringing. It's like how they're offering, how they're holding that space. Is it grounded? Is it fluid? You know? So we can do that for ourselves too. So not only are we the container, of whatever's coming through us, but we can also create and hold sacred space, intention for ourselves to become, to witness, to experience, to transform. So, how do you do that? This is going to answer a question. So, what we want to do is we want to make this unique to you, because each person that you're going to have your own set of skills, beliefs, practices, tools, and everything. So, what I've tried to do is boil this down to like, what is the most innate truth about each person that you could then put your own things back on. So doing this practice, it's going to change every time you do it, because you're changing. Like we're evolving, we're growing, right? But it'll help you stay really clear on what's going on with you and like what's present right now and how you want to like shift moving forward for whatever's like coming through you. The thing is though, like we get really accustomed to tuning into a lot of voices outside of us. So we've got media, we've got people in our life, we've got podcasts, we've got shows, we have so many things. And whether we like it or not, like those things all influence our container and our vessel, right? So what we're going to do is break down the mechanics of what it means to get clear on our container and then look at what's in there. Okay. So we're going to do this kind of 2 times. The first time is for what's current, and then the second time is for like what is coming or what's transforming. So this is current. We've already got it started. Like this is your current shape, your current container, right? All right. So we're going to start adding some labels to our drawing, and I'm going to give an example of this before we start. So just for space sake. So we have our shapes, right? I did mine pretty small over here at the top. For this next part, you might want to make a bigger version of it, just because we're going to be adding a lot of labels. So I'm making mine bigger in the center. And so I'm going to be drawing. You don't have to draw this, but this is just how it presented itself to me. So we have inflow, right? We have things that we allow into our lives, like into ourselves, into our mind, our awareness, our emotions. And then we have things that we let out. So I want to take some time and I want you to think about what's going on in your life right now. What are all of the things that you're letting in? So this is things you listen to, voices, podcasts, media, people that you talk with about stuff, like all of that becomes input, right? It's flowing in. Now it's aware. Now I'm aware of it. So we're going to start there. So what are some things that are flowing into your container? And you can make it as specific or generic as you want. Like I'm just making little notes, like I listen to podcasts, I get on TikTok a lot. This can also be like situations that come up, because sometimes things come up outside of you and that presents you with information that you take in. So like I'm putting some situations going on in my life right now. Mm. Okay, then what are some things that are coming out? So like who do you talk to frequently? Do you make voice notes to yourself? Journaling? Are you creating things? Like what are ways that you flow out? What's coming out of your container? I'd be crying a lot. I'm putting some emotions down. Okay. All right. So in between that, we have us. We're kind of in the middle of what we are bringing in and what's going out. Things that, pop up in your life and then things that you go and do and initiate. What are some things that are inside of you right now? Like, what are you holding in? What are some thoughts that have been coming up? Any fears? Like, what's going on internally right now? I got some stress. I got a lot of stuff I want to make that I feel like I'm just holding until I can make it.
I've been finding myself saying trying a lot. I've been feeling like that's a negative connotation to me,
Interesting.
trying, because it's like, okay, that still gives me the option of fail. It's still giving me the option of not doing it. It's still giving me the option of not giving my all. So I've been catching myself lately saying trying a lot, and I have to remove that word completely from my vocabulary, because I'm doing, I am this, I am doing this, I am doing whatever I put my heart to, whatever my mind is telling me that I'm doing it. So that's what's like, I've been hearing it over and over again from family, from outside world and everything. So everything that's been coming in, I'm like, okay, let me remove this word. That's fine.
I would put trying in quotes on the inside and draw a line to the outside? Because you said your family says it to you too. Oh, well, there I wrote trying, but for a different reason. It's everywhere. It's pervasive.
It is very, and it just brings up like that feeling like, oh,
I feel like it's tied to some like not good enough. Like if I knew I was good enough, then it wouldn't feel like trying because I believe in myself that I'm already at a place where I'm capable of just doing, executing.
There's a book called Get Out of Your Head, and she breaks down our insecurities and they go back to three things. Like they can manifest in different ways, but it's self-worth is one of them. So when you look at trying, it's your worth of, I don't think I can do it. So I'm just going to try to do it. It's almost permission, giving yourself permission to accept that the not worthiness of it.
I feel called out. I was like, I'm just gonna try this.
well, what is
Get out of your
So we're gonna leave that right there for a second, and then let's talk about what's going on the outside of this container. So every single one of us, no one is exempt from this. This is just normal. We all have a filter. We all have a lens that we perceive everything through, whether it's coming in or out. You know, things that are coming in. I'm not saying that we're judgmental people. I don't feel like y'all are, but judgment. You know, what is judgment? Well, it's those other things that you attach that you filter through the lens of. So there's religion, there's politics, there's social norms, there's societal norms, you know, there's all these different things that we're taking information in through. And then whenever we put stuff out or when we're observing what's going on within us, that's still our filter. We are still comparing ourselves to those same things and kind of checking in back and forth between the two. So I want you to think about what are some things that you filter information through, whether it's like systems that you believe in, like spirituality, religion, any I don't know, it's kind of abstract. So what are some things that you perceive information through? And then yeah, we're gonna write it around like the outside of our container, like it's our filter. I'm putting all of mine in like quotation marks because I don't 100% love the words that I'm using for this, but it's like I don't know what else to. So some of the ones that I put were like normal, like I have this normal thing. It's like, is this normal? Is this normal? Is that normal? Like, is this how things are supposed to be? And I think part of where that came from is like, I think I learned somewhere on my healing journey that a lot of what I've experienced is should not be normal, should not be normal. Like it is normal, but it shouldn't be normal. So then as more things started happening, I'm constantly like, is that normal? Is that how it's supposed to be?
so? My question is with that, what do you consider normal? Because everybody have different definitions of the.
Right. That's why I put it in quotes. So like I guess the way I'm using the word right now is like there are things that let's say ways that you grow up that you're surrounded by something so frequently that you don't know any different. So to you that is normal. Even if it's different from other people, that's what you are used to basically. So then if I begin to learn later in life, oh, like no one should ever talk to me this way. No one should ever treat me this way. This those things should not be normal. But they're so it's like the more people you get to know and talk to and hear their experiences, you're actually like, this is normal for a lot of us. Shouldn't be, but then that becomes like a lens that I filter information through.
Bernie Brown talks about that in Brave in the Wilderness. That is like one of my favorite.
I haven't.
That's a
Yeah, I have-
world. So it's
It makes me think of when you say the normal. I was sexualized as a child at a high level, and I thought it was normal. Some of the things that I endured, and then I took it into relationships willingly to to give myself, and I'll be graphic from like so forgive me from doing things that I didn't find arousing to myself that I now look at and I'm like, well, that is not normal. I use sex to punish. But those were all the acts that were done to me. And when I went through mine, I was like, oh, that's not love. That's not normal. That's actually really wrong and disturbing. So that's where that you say normal
yeah.
that comes to.
And then like once you become aware of that, then new relationships that come in,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
like hyper
that's
aware.
your
And I have a new standard of no, I'm not going to give myself in those ways because that is not normal. And it's not the normal I want to be in.
Some of my other words were quality, which I could go into roots about where this came from, but I think there's something about me that like wants everything to be quality. Like if I do anything, I want quality. If I'm having a conversation, I want quality. I'm looking for quality all the time. And I became aware of that and I have to like learn like it's okay for things to just exist sometimes. Like everything doesn't have to be the best all the time. And it's interesting because like the ways that I look to other people for that or look for that, I I look at myself that way. So like if I'm doing something that I don't perceive as quality, well now I'm judging myself where it's like, am I not allowed to just like be okay?
If I'm
Yeah.
sitting with somebody in
Have
silence, I will go into a panic state of they're not silent, they don't want to talk, they don't like me, or something's wrong, I did something. Instead of I know silence is actually the sweetest form of communication. You can sit in somebody's energy and just enjoy each other. You don't have to fill it with empty
present.
space. Yeah.
Quality where you had touched on, that's me, is it I prefer quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And like with it, I had to learn how to filter. I don't always have to surround myself around people. A lot of time, a lot of people, just the quantity of people, we're not always good energy to be around. So I understand with that quality.
Right.
Oh yes.
Brief rabbit hole moment. Is the volume okay? Because I know we're like in a bookstore and it feels like I'm being very quiet, but I want to make sure that the volume is okay. Joe, can you let me know in the chat if the volume is okay?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I do hear you better than the group. I don't know. Do you want to move like if we're like I don't know what you're going for, but if you want like discussion vibe, like I don't see other people talking and hear them quite as clearly as I hear you.
Okay, we're gonna brief pause.
It's kind of funny because now it looks like you're all looking like it looks like I'm the speaker. It's like, oh no, I have an audience.
No, you're right here on the table with us.
Anything else coming up around filter that you want to chat about?
Guess it's just self-talk, being aware of when a negative thought comes in my mind. And I immediately will say, is that thought going to kill me? And I look around. I go that extreme. I needed that. Thank you. And I'm like, am I going to die right now? Okay. I'm not going to die right now. And then I'll pause and I'll look like on my phone. I'll say, I'm like, is this person like somebody, they don't like me. I'm like working out. I haven't talked to that person like 6 months. And I just went through this whole thing. I'm like, am I going to die? No. And then I'll go, okay, I haven't talked to this person. I'll look through my messages and I'll confirm our last conversation was pleasant. And I'm like, okay, if anything about me, then I got to let that go because it doesn't serve me. And I go, oh yeah, I'm right here, right now. And then I become so hyper focused on what I'm doing, of what I'm touching. I like need to feel this reality.
Yeah. Yes.
I think that's so like I don't know. I think it's just like such a thing that's like up that we're like all like that a lot of us are exploring is like we're like accessed into like so many different realities that like we were not trained to expect that this is like the world and reality. And we're just like, I don't know, there's just a lot of implications to all of that. Like
When you pause, I'm like, that person isn't even thinking about me. They have a whole other
what
things.
what is this?
Not
Where
that
does
important
this
in anybody's
exist?
life to be a hyper focused girl. And then I'm like, you are important, but bring it down. And then I'm like, just be here. So for that, it's been self-talk and just being aware of what the thought is and then pulling myself into the now so I can erase that thought because it's always nothing.
Like, I don't know. I think this has been really up for me recently of like what even is because like I had a friend.
Can you reach the volume and just turn it up a little bit so we can hear her? Yeah, that one just a couple of times. Okay, perfect. Okay, so something that's been up for you were saying.
I totally lost it. Like went completely blank. I do that all the time.
I just want
No, that's okay. I do that all the time. It might come back. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I was like, wait. Okay.
No, I get that. I tell my teenager, like, okay, why would you allow somebody to impact your moment for the remaining of your day? Why are you giving them that much power over you? Like, whenever something negative come up to him, I'm like, why? I'm like, in the pause moment, I tell my son to do the same thing. Pause. Is this person an impact in your life? Why are you allowing them to have this much power over you too?
I go even further and say, why am I allowing my space to be interrupted? What thought process am I mirroring I actually put mirror earlier. What am I mirroring in the situation that I need to work on myself? Because that insecurity popped up.
Yeah.
Something is
Yeah.
connected to that
Yeah.
person that is a reflection of me.
Yeah. Isn't
Okay,
that so trippy?
I'm no longer
This is like always true.
yes, and then I'm like, okay, I'm actually not that person anymore. That person came up why they dislike me is because one, it's just easier to pass the buck
Yeah.
off to somebody else. And then I go back,
Mhm.
why am I allowing my own like Victoria, you're in the now. And I'll say it to like Victoria, you're way more than worth more of that thought. And that person, you're not that important to that person.
Mhm.
So relax. They're gonna go on about the day. But what are you doing right now? And then that's allows me
Yeah.
to kind of ground myself.
Yeah. Learning to have a lot of compassion with myself in those kind of moments because it's like, yeah, actually, you know what? When I ask myself these kind of questions of like, why am I allowing da 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 da? And I'm like, you know what? I have a lot of really good fucking reasons for allowing that. Like, I was literally like, it was beaten into me that that's the way you live life and like that that's what love means and that's what blah blah blah. I mean, there's a whole like we've been like I don't know. I think we're all really gaslit and like I think we have to have like a lot of
Gaslight
compassion for traumatized situation like across the board, everybody, like everybody.
I love that.
Yeah,
I'm
and
so
some
glad.
of us a lot.
I'm so glad this is coming up. And I'm glad that you're saying that, like we have a lot of reasons why we do it. And I think sometimes when like you start becoming self-aware, right? You start healing yourself and you start making these choices to like become a better person and transform yourself, transform your life. But then it's almost like at the same time you're like beating up yourself for like not for these little things that you do. But it's like, okay, but how long was I living before I had the practice and tools to do anything different? Why am I so like, well, every time I realize I'm okay, I'm giving my power away, or like, oh,
It's a way we get to be a martyr in our own life.
Mm.
And I think of
Mm.
like the monks that beat themselves.
Yeah, that's an image or
Yeah,
like
you
that
just
right there.
I think of those because of the shame. And then it's
Yeah.
like, hey, it's already gone. I can't change that particular behavior. Also, I was set in an energy where that
So what
behavior
else
was
was I gonna do?
acceptable.
It was required.
Yes, it was required acceptable. Now that I've leveled
Demanded.
myself up, I'm like, hey, I don't move in that frequency anymore. And I forgive myself for
yeah,
moving that way.
And when those tendrils are like showing up in my current reality, that totally makes sense. Like, of course, it's like it's still connected to whatever. Like, we're good.
yeah. Okay. So I want you to take a minute on your own, look at your paper, look at your container, look at everything you wrote, and I want you to highlight or underline anything that's just really popping off at you. If you need to make a note to yourself about why this is popping off at you, or if anything is standing out to you right now that you're just like, I need a minute, you can write it down. If you're watching this later and you want to pause it and like write something, I'm definitely having a reaction. I think I've becoming really aware lately of just how stressed I've been. I think I learned a long time ago that you just like keep going no matter what. And for a lot of reasons I had to, but for some reason the past few months, like I am aware of what's going on in my life and that is super stressful, but it's almost highlighting to me like how much stress I've allowed. Like I've allowed it. I've allowed myself to operate in that state for so long. And like I'm seeing like threads of like things I let in, ways that I let it out, ways I hold it. And it's like, I don't know, that's what feels like it's up for me. It's like, you've got to get to a place where you're just not holding, you're not allowing this much, you're not allowing stress to just eat at you and like stress you out this way. Like I said, this is for me too. I'm doing this with y'all. Like I'm
Lately, mine's been dancing.
dance.
Finally got to the point where I'm able to just dance. I can't hold rhythm worth of nothing. Can't dance. So that's just me being free, being able, like where you said stress, I was that 9 months ago. Like finally able to a point where I'm able to relieve all of that to get back to who that child was because literally always on a constant go. I was always on a constant go, always looking out for other people, putting everybody else's needs before my own. And as a little girl, as I reflect now, I used to always dance, used to make my makeshift houses and stuff from scraps around the yard and everything. And I used to always dance to my own tune, becoming one with nature. Cause like the house that we grew up in, was a massive oak tree that we had, and that's where that oak tree that I'm drawing I'm painting right now. I used to always dance underneath there and just be free. And now that I'm to a point where I'm not allowing stress and not allowing the people to say what I can and can't do, what I'm able to do, I'm not allowing sickness to control me. I'm able to freely and just dance. And seeing my daughter actually sit there because she'll start seeing me dance and she'll start dancing. So it's like seeing myself in my daughter. And I'm just being free with myself, not worried about what the outside world is thinking at the time. Just dance and praise, and just that's where I'm at. So
I love that.
Yeah, I love that.
You know what? Like, no, like one thing though, like who says you don't have rhythm? Like it might just not be the rhythm that we're like, I don't know. I think that we're like taught that there are like certain patterns that are what like something is, but then some of us we're like, I have a rhythm, it's just a very different way.
It's the rhythm of my soul, not yours.
I don't know, the way you told that story, I was like, I don't believe you right now.
Yeah.
Like you're not giving me that vibe. Like you have rhythm.
I told you.
I've been like, and that's the other thing. I've
Weird.
just been getting into just making my own clothes because at one point I used to always want to be a fashion designer because what they have out here is like, this is not me.
Pushing it,
It's like
yeah.
the same thing. So I started making my own stuff, going to thrift stores and shredding up stuff. I'm like, yeah, I can do this. Why not?
I love doing that. I also have a grandmother who's a seamstress, so I will take over stuff and I'm like, hey, I can't do this. I'm not skilled enough. Fix it. And she's
Right?
just like, it's a size 14, Victoria. I'm like, I don't care. This is what I want it to look like, woman.
This is what machines are for.
I can use those hands.
Like, I don't know, I have like it wasn't a verbal thought, so I don't know how to verbalize it right now, but I had a flash of like what you just described. Like when you first turned on the camera and Caitlin and I saw you, like I had a flash of that. Like, just like I don't know. I can't verbalize it. It was just like, I don't know, it was like a model picture.
That's really cool.
This is fun.
And I think that's what art does for us. Like for those
Yes.
who find voice, but we have a picture or a painting that depicts everything. So I get that.
Yes. It was a picture.
Sorry.
I love Caitlin's style, especially because it's so wildly different from mine. And when I very first met her, I was a little scared. I was like, oh my God, am I going to get like over sensory stimulated by trying to interact with this person? Because there's like a lot of color and a lot of like, I don't know, like this is me all the time is like, I just don't. And so I was like, oh my gosh. And then I don't know, I just love it so much. There's such an art to it.
That's so funny. I'm trying to think of like what I've worn around you. I'm always wearing a black shirt.
But it's your the way you wear your
Oh
hair.
yeah, I did have
Your-
pink hair
yeah.
when we met.
The essence around you is
Yeah.
right.
Like what? That makes more sense. Sorry.
There's a lot that's like not in the physical, so
Never mind. Okay. All right.
and like because I first saw you. Oh, anyways,
No, you're good.
I first saw your information through like your like it was like written and online,
Yes.
like and so like pictures and so like I was getting your vibe before I ever actually saw you. And I think I saw like one
Okay.
picture of you with like pink hair.
Yeah, that's true.
That was the only I'd ever seen of you.
That's true. Okay, that's valid. I had hot hair. I let it fade out because I thought I was going to court. I was trying to not, I was trying to look normal.
You don't go into those situations like looking a different way.
Right.
When I had to go to court, I had to cover up completely, and I was like,
Yeah.
who am I now?
I just so give up on that. Like I've given up on that in life.
Yeah.
I just don't anymore. I can't. I cannot look normal. I can't do it.
Turtleneck too, because I have like a whole chest piece, and I'm like, yeah, the judge is gonna think I'm a. And my ex-husband's about to place me one like that.
Yeah, that's all.
I'm trying to help my case, not hurt my case.
Especially on a
That's so awful.
So sad.
That's so sad, but like also hilarious. That's so
Yeah.
awful.
All right, before we totally switch gears, I want you to look back over everything one more time. And with a different color or a different mark, I want you to identify which things are inside your control. You can control this. Like you are allowing this, you are in control of how this is impacting you. Because I'm going to be honest, there's some things you cannot control. I cannot control when my child is having a meltdown. That's their emotions. Like, there's things that influence that I can't control, but there are things that I can. So, oh, like so many of these things. Sure. Those things. Be working on all this. I can deal with all this. All right, and whenever you're ready, we're just gonna flip it over or do a different page or something. Just white space. If you want to take some breaths, whatever. Just that was a lot. We brought up some stuff. We talked about some stuff. We got vulnerable. So if you need a minute, we're gonna regroup.
How perception of people on the outside perceives you based off your clothes or just
I know it comes back to that normal, right? What is
Yeah.
normal and what's perceived as normal? Like I really don't like to talk about like personal stuff if I know it's gonna be shared, just because trying to anyways, but when I was facing the court situation, like one of the things that was being said about me, or that has been said about me in the past in that way, it's like, oh, she's unstable, she's not able to take care of kids, like whatever. And I didn't want to be rolling up in there looking a certain way to cause a certain perception for someone to be like, she looks unstable. But that's the filter, right? It's like
Yeah.
we've been trained to perceive everything that way, and then we're constantly self-editing
Yeah.
in our life instead of just like having that.
Which it's weird because there is a shift happening if you pay attention. What is acceptable, and it's new, but we're not there yet. I can see it where like we are becoming more acceptable, but like just because we are not your traditional person, where your traditional person now is trying to be non-traditional.
Authentic. Nobody was allowed to be authentic. Like the system was like, I think about this all the time because I like to read Jane Austen. And so like I think about this all the time, like where like we're kind of like culturally coming from a lot of like Western society. Like everything was super starched up and like very rules of exactly what you said and when you said it. Everything was a play that like very set rules, and you just learned the game and did it. And that's like not what the world's doing slowly anymore.
So I always think my grandmother, she's from Mexico, and I'm one of the only women in my family that are completely tatted. And she goes, she loves me. She's the one who tailors all my stuff, but she's like, my mom would have never let you in the house because you do not fit. And I was like, well, thanks, Grandma. That's kind of hurtful. She was like, no, I'm just being honest. She goes, none of us could step out of that and be who we want to, because you are so okay with being shunned, but that was not something you could do. Like I think back 50 years from now or 60 years, if I lived, I would not have had a man.
We wouldn't have a voice.
Not a voice, but also choosing to mark myself and put my story outside. People would have been like, yeah, no, you are already exiled.
You like, you could like, that could be really like life threatening to try to like be that like that sounds like a really life threatening situation.
And I'm like, yeah, when she says it, I'm like, okay. I mean, okay, but times are changing, so we're hitting this pendulum where it is becoming acceptable, but it's still not at a
certain
root.
extent, yes.
At a root, it's weird.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm listening. I've been in the office. I stepped outside with the excuse to check the mail. But I'm loving this conversation because I work with nothing but men.
Ooh.
And like I feel like right now I'm wearing a big jacket over everything. But it's just my thoughts were when you guys were talking about what is acceptable, I feel like it's because of the male gaze and the patriarchal viewpoint of what is acceptable, and like being covered and like not colorful and not, not too I guess distracting or whatever. And I like that's what I think of when I think of like corporate setting, or you guys going to court, right? And wanting to come present yourself as what is it, stable.
Yeah, I used to have these conversations with my students because they would ask me about the dress code and why is it this way and why is it that way. And like one of the big arguments is that something can be distracting. And we're like, to who? You know what's really distracting to me is when I'm wearing something that I'm not comfortable in, because all day
I'm like this. The outfit is wearing me. I am no longer wearing it. And I'm out of my own. Yes.
Like I'm in my desk, like going like this.
Yeah. All day.
Stuff. So okay.
Yeah, I have not felt that in a while, but I can definitely still remember what that feels like. to be so uncomfortable in my own self.
Like you're choking silently inside, and it's
Yes,
like,
and
your
everybody's
clothes.
looking at you going, fine, nah.
Yeah. Instead of clothing being
Yeah.
an extension of you or a way that you express yourself, it's something that you put on to stifle or like.
But then it goes back to the reflection, because we can even take it deeper into what we were saying about one's mirror and self. Of that person isn't going to like me. They probably remind you of some person subconsciously, and then your worth comes into it. And it's just a whole circle. Life is a circle. It's not a square, it's a circle.
Okay, so Nancy, I know you're just joining us. So what we did is we're talking about the self-contained practice and like getting familiar with what your container is and then ways to facilitate transformation and holding a container for yourself. So we just wrapped up the section about what is your current container. So like what is your current shape? What does that mean? What are you currently letting into your container? What's inside of you? What are you currently letting out? What is your filter around your container that you're filtering information through or filtering yourself through? And so now we're going to like move out of that for a second and we're going to look at a different container. Okay. I'm excited. Okay. So I'm going to offer a couple pattern interrupts. So all the things that we just described are things that we are very familiar with in our lives. Like this is probably how you grew up. This is probably like what you were like comfortable with, or for me anyways, like this feels very much like past me or things I've been like working through. I don't feel like it's reflective of like who I know myself to be. Anyways, so I want to offer some pattern interrupts to kind of disconnect us from all of those things.
Okay.
And we're going to move into a new space. Okay. So the first one is I want you to think about, and I'm not trying to make any statements about beliefs right now. This is just a practice. Remember, this is just a tool. So I want you to think about life as a video game. Okay. When you're playing a video game, you are two people at once. You have the controller and you are outside looking and watching the screen, right? But you understand yourself to be that character that's doing the things in the screen, in the game, right? And so you're having to think for both your actions on this side and your thoughts over here are impacting the way you interact inside the game. Okay. So, what I want us to do is activate the part of ourselves now that is observing our character. Like, there's a part of you that's in your experience that is very like in your body, in the earth, like in your human, in your day-to-day interactions. And there's a part of you that's like observing all that sees the bigger picture, that's kind of like watching it play out. So I want to talk to that part of you moving forward. And just I would like to remind us that like everything we talk about here forward is neutral. So like if something comes up, like I don't want us to label it with like, oh, that's like negative. It's okay, like self-talk or whatever. Right now we're just observing. So this is all neutral. It's not good or bad. It's just like I'm watching this character. So that's who I'm talking to. The other pattern interrupt is I would like us to let go of what we think time even is. How does that impact our container? Well, think about it. Things change over time, right? So I want to let go of what time is because right now I'm talking to the part of you that's observing and that is not contained by time. Okay. Okay. The timeless version of you.
Okay.
Also, I'd like to introduce the concept of creation through holding space, creating space, allowing space, not taking time, spending time, giving time, or blocking out time, holding time, right? I want us to think about like we are creating space, not time.
Okay.
For things. All right. Just to interrupt, just to interrupt some patterns here. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna move into part two. So I'm gonna talk to that part of you that's observing, not timeless. We're gonna do the same practice again that we started with, but I want you to do it from this space. Okay. So we are timeless. We are not to be held, contained by time, by other people's constructs, this everlasting part of you, right? So I want you to close your eyes and I'm gonna walk you through another thought process and then I'm going to ask you to draw whatever comes up. Okay. All right. So with your eyes closed, I want you to like breathe really deep, do some deep breaths. and just tune everything out. We're no longer in half price. We're not even a part of this world. Just tuning out the noise, letting everything melt away. Doesn't matter what day it is, what time it is, doesn't exist right here, right now. And allow yourself to find a 0 point, a center point inside where like literally nothing else matters. Like I'm here with me and that's it, with self. And I want you to ask that inside of you, what is my most authentic shape? What container am I? And draw whatever comes up. Before we move forward, I want you to like really go into that space and like sit with that container, like whatever came up. And I want you to think about what feels different, anything that you notice that's different. And if you want to make a note on your page of anything, like any thoughts or feelings, any differences that are coming up right now, you can. Okay. So we don't want to leave this space. We want to stay here. I'm going to ask a few more questions and I want you to notice what comes up. So this version of you already has a filter. It's the filter that you're most aligned with. So I want you to notice, like, whenever we take all of these outside labels off that the world gave us, we already have space for our natural aspects and our natural self to come through. So I'm going to give you some words to play with. I want you to check them with your own system. So like as I say them, I want you to like check them in with your center and notice the ones that you resonate with or the ones that you're like not agree or disagree, just like this is like, yeah, I resonate or no, I don't. Okay. Love, self-love, trust, self-trust, safety, personal safety, judgment, non-judgment, pressure, no pressure, freedom, light, darkness, truth, joy, alignment, peace, purity, acceptance. And I want to give space in case there are any other words that come up during this time. Anything that is your authentic filter. So at this point, I'm sure that you can see where this is going, right? And you can feel the difference between not only like this filter and the filter that we had before, but there were probably some words that I mentioned that didn't resonate. It was like, it didn't hurt. It didn't bounce off you. It wasn't like a trigger. It's just like a no, like that ain't it. So if you haven't already, or if you're watching this later, whenever you're ready, I want you to write down some words around your shape that define your personal authentic filter for your authentic container. In that list, if there were some that stood out more than others that are more like predominant or primary, you can highlight those or just make a special mark or leave them all. And then while you're still in this space, so remember originally I was talking to you saying that I'm talking to the part of you that's everlasting, right? That we're observing. Now I want you to imagine you're stepping into that container. Like you are moving now into that space where you are surrounded by this filter. And I want you to ask yourself what types of inflow and outflow are best for me and my container. What types of inflow, input, information, things coming in from my external reality are best for this container, and what types of outflow are best. Okay, how are you feeling?
Awareness.
Awareness? Ooh, I'm right there. We're done. Okay, since we've been in like a reflective space, I don't want to open it up to share just yet because there's some more here that we could do. So, if you did nothing else, right? Like if you left here today and did nothing else, this practice alone probably will shift stuff in your life, just in general. Like we're doing it out in the open, being intentional about it. We've brought a lot of things to light. That by itself would say less, right? Do enough. But I would guess that there are probably some things in your life that you'd like to see shift. There are probably some aspects on the first piece of paper that have been frustrating, challenging, or just things that you would no longer like to mess with or you would like to see change. If that's the case, while we're in this space and we're in this container setting, I want you to go back inside of that new container, the authentic one, the timeless one, and I want you to bring that thing that you'd like to shift in there. Bring it in there. See what happens. What's the conversation? Is there anything that immediately comes to mind? It's like, you know what I could do? I could do this. Or maybe there's a different perspective in there. So just take a minute to like identify what is this thing I would like to shift or see change. Bring it inside that authentic container and just let it sit there, see what you see. Based on the shift, are there any aspects of your container or filter that you need to adjust just for right now? Sometimes things highlight when we need them more, and sometimes we make small adjustments, but it's just for now. All right, bonus questions. How much space do I need to allow myself for the shift to take place? So while you're here, this, what you just felt or experienced, that's your most authentic way to facilitate a shift for yourself. It's first remembering who you are when the world is not involved. Getting clear on who am I, what is my container outside of all these other things that have been put onto me all of my life. And then from in there, we can ask questions, we can make changes, we can get guidance. I know that you know this already, but it's totally different. I'm sure you can feel the difference between all the other voices of what people would tell you to do about that thing you wanted to shift versus when it's coming up within you. It's like clear. It almost feels like it's easier to implement. Maybe not that it won't be challenging, but it's like if there's no noise, there's not a whole laundry list of things that you need to change about who you are or what you need to do this, do this, do this, do this. It might be like the simplest, like softest adjustment. It's not because you're now viewing your life through love and acceptance and this innate sense of like, I already am here. There's no rush here. There's no like, it's not like I'm going to do this today and then the world's going to, So over time, if you were to, let's say, go back out into the world and you're living your life and you start noticing these other things coming up, right? You can repeat this as many times as you want, and it's going to be different every single time. You don't have to draw it. You don't have to write it. Like drawing it just makes it outside of you and it makes it where you can look at it like you're in that video game and you're observing. But over time, like this is something that becomes like seamless. You're no longer moving in between these versions of you or these aspects of you. It's more like I am this and you're just present with what's shifting and moving around and you're adjusting to that. But it shouldn't feel so much like you're putting more things on you. It should feel like more things are coming up from out of you. And this This is self-contained. How you feeling? How's it going? Taking a pulse.
I'm actually just really impressed what I already know to be true, and seeing it done like this, it puts it in perspective. I already know what works,
Right.
and I try to stay away from it because my lack of trust of other humans. But I'll share when it's time to share. Like, okay,
We're open.
when you lifted up your page and I could see the other side, I put a cone. And one thing that I know is we do a lot of things in funnel decision. I know those funnel decisions determine kind of where you end up. And in my life, I have made a lot of funnel decisions that have led me to places, which is like a little funnel, good and bad. But when we did looking in, that base that I was talking about is like a dome, and I've protected myself with that dome. But I also know like there is growth. There's a tree. Like I know in that dome, I have knowledge of knowing that I'm aware of my emotions, and but there's a door out of it, and the fear of letting others hurt me. So I have a lot of trust issues and seeing. But I'm also really happy in this because I already know what works. I already know what those funnel decisions do. I've seen it. I have a beautiful fucking life.
What are funnel decisions? I've never heard that.
So say you and I are in a relationship and fighting, and I make a funnel decision to hurt you with something that can spiral us to ruin
Like it
ourselves.
comes out. Like it's
comes
like
out.
one thing, but
It can go out. But when you are conscious of that funnel decision and you're aware of one, how you feel and how somebody else may feel, you'll stop. And I put slow down, pause, watching, because the funnel decisions matter, not for just
it's like the
myself.
ripple effect.
It's a ripple. And in those funnels, I've protected myself with this dome, not letting anybody else's decisions affect me. But reality is they do. And having that door to let people that I find in and out, also allowing myself to move in and out. And I already know this works because when I'm in alignment in those funnel decisions, people around me, I only spiral to the top versus spiraling to the bottom. So for me, it's like I already know this.
Yeah.
I have already experienced it. And it's just the reminder of letting go and pausing so I can be reminded of everything that I have. And literally that is everything is here is like let go and trust, which I have I like don't do. But when I do, then I'm able to care about where those funnels go, and they either go down or they go up.
That's so true. I've never heard it explained. Like I've never heard that term, but I love that. It makes a lot of sense. And it's true. It's like every little moment thing that we do. Nothing is an isolated event. I keep getting that phrase over and over and over. Nothing is an isolated event. Every cause and effect, it's so exponential. And it feels in the moment like we're just making this one choice, but really
like if we were arguing and instead of me putting my defenses up and we spiral to not having this friendship or whatever. But then if I stop and I listen and I hear what you're saying and I say, I moved this way and I am sorry that I did. Can you help explain it to me? You are going to lower your defenses and we're going to walk through this together. Those funnel decisions.
that moment just flipped it from the
Going
potential to go that way
to go up.
Yeah.
It's like one of those games.
Something else you said that stood out to me. Well, there's two things. One is you kept saying, like, I already know what works for me. Like, I already know. And that's kind of the point. It's like we have this innate internal knowing that we do know, but there's like so many things going on around us that we don't always operate from that. We don't.
And we
For
question
all the
it.
reasons, as Joe would say. And then the other thing you said is like this dome of like you want, or I don't know if you said it like this, but like where their decisions don't affect you as much, but then they do. That's the whole part of starting to look at this whole thing as like a game of like I am this and I am that. I am the one experiencing it and I'm the one outside of it watching it and making those adjustments, making those changes, and it will affect you. Like we are human and we're gonna feel.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. No, but you do feel it to say you don't.
Yeah, but it's like having that pause, like you said, and shifting from the the one who's to like looking over and being like, okay, how am I operating me
then that
in
will allow me
this.
to move to operate for where you need
Right.
as well. And it's an external thing. I 2 years ago, I guess longer than that, 3 years ago, I did a lot of soul searching within my own stuff and I examining why I moved that way. Back to what you were saying about like we're conditioned to do certain things and then examining who conditioned this person. So zooming all the way out. So being out of yourself and going, okay, like for me, it was, why did my grandmother act this way? Well, I learned why her mom treated her this way. And then no wonder why my mom did what she did. It's pulling yourself all the way out to examine and being like, okay, now I'm back in it. How can I move differently? Because I already have all the facts.
Yeah.
So I do a fact check for myself a lot. Like, am I going to die as a fact check? Am I going to die? Okay, now let me check. Is that person hurting me in some way? No, like it's a physical thing. And then once I can check that, then I can go to the emotional thing and I can slow down. So for me, it was just like this whole exercise has been a reminder of things that I know to be true and that have led me to have this beautiful life that I have, that I manifest and I prayed for.
Yeah.
I did the hard work and to be like, hey, noise,
Yeah.
you don't like this
Noise.
because it's so unfamiliar.
Yes.
And that's okay.
It's not normal.
It's not normal. This is the new normal. And it's going to pivot again.
Yes.
Yes.
It's exponentially.
And when it does, now you have more things in your checklist to go, these are the facts and this is the noise.
I love that. These are the facts and this is the noise.
And you know what my saying has been? Feelings over facts.
Yeah.
So if I understand what my feelings and everything, I feel this way. I hope you understand. You should understand because how I feel, but the fact still remains the same. This is what it is.
Yeah.
So that's what my saying has been: feelings over facts. Well, no, feelings
Facts
are not
over
facts.
feelings.
There we
Yeah.
go.
I
Feelings
love that.
They're not facts.
They can't be.
They
They
can
could be.
be,
They
yeah.
could be
Yeah.
archives.
Well, like they are a reality. They are a fact. They exist. They are there. Like it or not, this is here.
And figuring out where it's at. Like I grew up in a very dysfunctional house. My biological mother, was a predator to a child who was my stepdad. It's like a whole weird thing. But the house that we lived in was so bad that the state condemned it. It's still, after like the last 20 years, there's been nothing on the ground. Like so much pedophilia, so much drug use, like that, those feelings. And the other night I dream of being in a back room that I was put in quite a bit. And I could feel this pinching in my waist. And it was as if a man was holding my waist. And it was the fact is somebody held me a certain way and I could feel his pinching. Can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
But I have to sit there and be like, okay, that's a fact for my body.
And it's a present physical reality.
I felt it and I sat there and I'm like, okay, but I'm not there anymore.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
fact, the feeling is real, but the fact is I'm not there anymore.
Yeah.
Prior to that acknowledgement of that was the feeling into the fact that it was. So I had to flip it on its head. So it is constantly this cone. You're either here or there. Those funnel decisions, like I sat in that piercing all day and got into pin and felt real. Instead, I felt in that moment, yes, Victoria, somebody did grab you like this. And I am so sorry that happened to you. Or
Yeah.
people are not around us anymore.
Yeah.
That property is now gone. So
I love that because it's almost like, how do I explain this in words? So there's such a thing as bypassing, right? Like bypassing people's feelings, emotions. And it's like, I feel like the way you're talking about it is not to like bypass the feeling or the emotion, but like take a moment to acknowledge and then,
yes,
and then now we're going to do this and not stay there in that.
I have this saying, and I don't know if y'all have ever heard of Matthew. Oh God, he's a dating guru, Matthew Husky. I actually went to his seminar in like 2019, for like 4 days. And one thing that he always said was an and not a but.
Mm-hmm.
I applied that for myself. So I was an and. I was going to be in somebody's life, which my husband now, I'm an and. I'm an and. He is an and to my life. But when we argue, I tend to say, and this is my acknowledgement, I've been really working through, is when he says something, instead of saying, but I did this, which was my apology, that's programming, but because I understand and I'm trying to move differently, I'm saying, and your feelings are valid, and stopping, listening, and then going, okay, where's my ego popping up in this situation? Because it's a defense of something that I'm scared of or something that I've done and I don't want to acknowledge. So it's the fact or the facts and feelings of going, okay, both of them are correct. Both of them are real, but I need to stand somewhere in the middle, which is the dome for me.
This stuff is so cool because it's just the like real time exploration that consciousness is in, right? It's like this is the forefront of like what's going on. It's like we're like humanity is evolving and we're like waking up to stuff and we're looking around us and we're like, wait a second. Like, wait. Like we have awareness to see things. We have choices. We can do things. We don't have to do. We've been playing out these patterns for how long?
Time.
Like my diamond, looking back at it, like I can be the center of it. I could be placed in the corner and everything has to fit to me. But at the root of who I am to the core, I'm an organic shape. So with it, I can be molded in any way that I want to, but I am the key holder to it. I am the person who is able to create her own life. I I am not for everybody.
Right.
Like my mentor told, I am light and darkness. So with it, you either take me for who I am or you don't. But I am light. I speak life. But at the same time, I had my dark moments. I've been very, very, very dark moments. So with it, that's where the self-love come in, the self-trust. Self-trust has been the biggest battle for me because I have those that's supposed to be there for you in your corner and everything, be the biggest ones that betrays your trust. So with it, my intuition always spoke to me deep down inside, that gut feeling like, Angie, you know better, but I still didn't listen to it. And that self-trust, I always betrayed myself in the end. And with it, I had to look deep down within myself. Why am I attracting all these type of things to me? And at the core, that's who I was. I was a manipulator. I was a liar. I was all of these things that I wanted to point the finger at everybody else but myself.
I love this stuff because it's like I don't know, it's kind of like the logic of all of the spiritual stuff that anybody has ever been saying everywhere throughout time. Like they're all saying the same stuff all the time. And it's this kind of logic. It's like, right, it's all me. Right. All of it.
It's like when God, like if you look at the biblical stuff, when he's like, when God is like, I am in you. Yeah, because when you're awakened to that consciousness, you know you can move either way. You have the ability to
To
change,
see it.
Yes.
to see it, and you have the ability to move up in frequency. It's all this, like you're saying, it's all the same thing. It's just said differently
It is.
to a different audience and time.
Yes. And that's where that non-judgment comes from. Like the judgment part, I was like, nah, I'm not really judgment. Am I? Like, it's like, I struggle with that. Like when I tell people don't judge me, but then like they turn around somewhat judging, like, oh, but that non-judgment, I accept everybody for who you are, what flaws you have, because we all have some type of quirky flaws that may not be normal to the next person. So with it, like I try to take into consideration, is this the environment that they were brought up in? And is this the present environment that they're currently in? So with it, I try, excuse me, I do my best not to start having that perception, that stereotype that embedded in us. So yeah, freedom, the alignment, and I want people to be in line with what my core values are deep down inside my alignments. I pray for all of the things, like we may not be all the same synonymously, but we have the same conjunction of where we're trying to go, where we're headed, and the same assignments of what we want in life and what our life is supposed to look like. So that's where
I hate to like hard left turn, but my laptop is going to die because there's no power outlets here and I cannot plug it into anything. So before I hop off and close it because it's gonna die, does anyone have any questions?
no, I love
Actually, to go back to the first thing.
Oh yeah, I'm so glad you said that. So the first thing I asked everyone to do is write your current definition of success. I want you to read it now and think about, I don't know, do you still agree? Anything you would add, change, shift?
Mine's confirmation. I'll share it. Mine is peace. When I don't overthink, I am in the moment. Greatness is the now.
I
So
love that.
it's that my highest success is peace. When I know and I'm conscious of just being present, man, life is amazing. It's the illusion. Life is an illusion, or was it time as an illusion?
Yes.
It's being in the now. So is my peace.
Mine's is living life freely, freely to roam without limitation, freely to give to others without worry of when the next dollar is coming from, freely just to love.
I love that. Cool. Well,
Yeah.
thank you guys. Down for it. It was just
Thank you.
I love this.
We'll do this again. I'm so glad. Thank you for joining me for the VIP self-contained, and I'm sure we'll be doing this again in the future.
Thank you for guiding us.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. This is fun.
So thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Nice meeting you. We'll talk soon.